welcome to the Comic and Science Fiction Fantasy Fans Fantastic Forum. I am your host, Billie Rae Bates, this time around, and I am joined here in the studio by our panelists, Drew Bittner, and Roberto Ortiz, and Dave Disspain. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Hey, glad to be here.
So this time our topic for discussion is most outlandish superpowers, because, you know, we can all think of that hero or villain, I suppose, that you're just thinking, okay, what? What were they thinking about that?
Definitely.
So I'm sure you all have some ideas. Drew, throw something out there.
Let's see. I mean, the Legion is just rife with them. We were talking about this before. You know, Bouncing Boy, he can turn into a human beach ball, or Matter Eater Lad, he can eat anything. It's like, you know, these were done in kind of the Gonzo latter day age, you know, the latter days of the Silver Age, when pretty much anything goes. And, you know, I mean, they're fun characters that are a lot of fun, but their powers are just flat out ridiculous. So.
What about you, Roberto?
I'm drawing a blank. Sorry.
I think the one that absolutely made me throw a book down in disgust and never pick up the title again since is a character called Seth. And he's in the Authority.
Yeah.
And between his rainbow breath or his ability to, I think he can smell radioactive poop, for lack of a better description. I literally was reading it, and I put it, and I set it down on the table, and I have yet to pick up an Authority comic since. I just thought that is so crazy and so stupid. How is this serving anybody or serving any story?
It was definitely an exercise in over-the-top character creation, yeah.
Long shot. It just dawned on me. Yeah, Yuli basically just mentioned it before. How do you even have a mutant power that has to do with luck?
True.
Well,
How does that work?
but there are other luck-based characters. Black Cat, Roulette. There's other characters that use luck in some quantifiable way, and Longshot just, everything breaks his way. That's his power.
Isn't that a little bit the lazy writing in a certain way? I mean, it's kind of God in the Machine sort of thing. It's, oh, by the way, I have
the luck-based power just kicked in.
Yeah.
It's lazy if everything but everything that the character encounters is left to chance, because that's where luck comes into play. Luck being when the odds are even or less than even, that it'll still go in his favor. If nothing's left to chance, then his power doesn't really have a chance to come into play. So I think there are ways to write around it, but that's just...
That's a good point. You're true about it. That's true.
Okay.
I'm okay with that.
How about from the Flash, Tar Pit? It's a guy who basically becomes a tar pit. I mean, really.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How unbelievably pointless.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, what could you use that for?
You can't rob a bank with it. You know?
You can catch people when they get
people
stuck
fall
in the
into
car.
him?
Yeah,
Yeah,
basically the Flash is coming.
exactly it.
I don't recognize that guy. I've seen him like 50 times before. I'm gonna run into him and go really slow.
It used to be known as La Brea.
Yeah.
It's a true character, Tar Pit.
I'm thinking that's an example of a character that's constructed to do nothing other than mess with the hero.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, which is that's bad character creation to start off with, I think.
Well, let me throw this out there. A couple characters, I guess, that come to mind for me. Just because they've gotten a bad rap over the years as kind of being cheesy or whatever, but I question whether or not they're really cheesy. The Wonder Twins from Super Friends.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think about it, the form, you know, some form of water or form of an animal, it seems like that stuff could be pretty handy.
And it's kind of weird too, because the sister basically sucks the brother into her so she can throw him out. It's kind of weird. There's some sort of weird undertone there.
That happened?
Yeah.
Wow.
That actually happened.
In the
Okay.
cartoon show, yeah.
I don't remember that.
She would become an
Like
elephant,
an elephant?
and she would suck the brother who became water. And
Oh, okay. Well.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just also like, why water and animals? You know, why? How do those two go together?
Well, the water is lted. You know, I guess what, 3 forms, but the
I can
animals.
make a puddle.
You know, the animal.
I can make a tar pit.
Yeah.
I'm moist.
But there are a wide variety of animals that could help out in different, like an elephant. You know, it's huge. It could trample things. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is it cheesy or is
How the
it
heck
not?
did this happen?
I never saw her turn into anything but a bucket on the show.
cape. No, he turns into a bucket.
Oh, he turns into the
Yeah.
bucket. Okay.
He turns
Well,
I
the
knew one of
water
them
in
turned
the
into a
bucket.
bucket.
But you know,
yeah.
but the thing is, I mean, there's another category or another kind of offshoot to this we could go into too, which is like when characters gain brand new powers
That
just
makes
out of the
sense.
blue. Like I'm thinking Emma Frost turning into Diamond.
Ah.
You know, it's like
Superman.
why in
turning
the
electric.
world? What? Well, that's a different thing altogether. But I mean, Emma Frost suddenly getting the ability to become a diamond. Where the heck did that come from?
Okay.
Wow.
And also, I think of Wonder Woman flying, because to me, that's always bothered me a little bit when I've seen that done, because it doesn't seem like it's true to the character. And it seems like an attempt to make her more powerful or make her more like Superman. Like they had to do that because she's
Yeah.
already so powerful.
But outlandish powers. I mean, you know, Superman in the Silver Age. Every time he was confronted with something new, he pulls a brand new power out of his cape.
Or the weird
you know?
kryptonites, or when he had weird
Yeah.
kryptonite that basically would give him weird power.
I was just going to say, Superman himself is the definition of outlandish power.
Yeah.
I mean, it's he can
Silver
do
Age Superman.
It's the
he-
best
Silver
of
Age
everything.
yeah, he can do
Yeah.
anything. I mean,
Yeah.
when you can grab the planet and rotate it backwards and go back in time, that's just
breaking
that's
the time barrier by
ridiculous.
flying really fast.
Yeah,
Well, I
exactly.
mean, and being fast enough to, you know, have a foot race with the Flash.
Yes.
Right.
It's like, let the Flash be the fastest man alive, okay? Let him do what he does well.
Right.
You know.
It's like they want Superman to steal every character's thunder.
It's
In a lot
he's
of
like
ways.
he's like a quarter, and I love Superman by the way, but he's like the quarterback in the high school football team. That he's the most popular kid, period. And on top of that, he happens to be the smartest kids in school.
Right.
That would suck.
Yeah.
No wonder
Yeah.
Lex Luthor hates him.
Exactly. And that's a good point. I mean, for the longest stretch of time, Superman was kind of the Mary Sue character. You know, it's like you can't be a better detective than Batman, but here comes Superman. He's got a gadget from the
And
Phantom Zone.
Flash, he can run as fast as Flash.
He
You know,
can-
even Flash can't have something over on him.
Yeah, you can challenge the Flash in a foot race.
Oh, I know a character related to Superman who has stupid powers. Mr. I cannot say.
Mrs. Pitalik.
Thank you.
Yeah. Again, a kind of a Mary Sue character. He comes out of nowhere. He messes with Superman and then goes away.
Yeah,
So-
but he's banished by the saying when he is tricked into saying his own name backwards.
Yeah.
So that's a little outlandish
which is
too.
always kind of a reach. but-
Have you ever said your own name backwards?
I think it would be relatively easy, but I'm not going to do it for risks that I'll be banished.
I've lived on this planet for
disappear in a
4
cloud of
decades, and I've
smoke.
never had any reason to say my own name backwards.
Yeah.
That's just weird to me.
It's difficult to trick him into that. But yeah, and the animated series, they showed that really well. The animated series from the 90s, he just kept, in that one episode, just rapid fire, just over and over, he kept doing it.
Yep.
And it would only banish him for a certain amount of time.
Yeah, like 90 days.
Yeah, and then he'd be right back.
Yeah, and he comes back.
It seems like,
It-
cheating.
It makes me wonder how much the influence of drugs and alcohol has on the writing, because
Dude, this was the Silver Age. This was the 60s storytelling.
Oh,
where
yeah.
anything goes.
We'll have a
and,
character that just shows up and has superpowers, and you have to say his name backwards.
but unfortunately that carries over to the modern day, or at least more recent past, where Superman peels off the S off of his costume, and
That's from the
And-
movie.
Yeah,
just
that's-
come on.
Yeah.
Or the super kiss, where he can erase people's memories by
Right.
kissing them.
That's also good examples of outlandish powers.
Which brings that if Lex Luthor finds his identity, it will be very awkward in terms of how he gets to forget.
There's a kissing comic that needs to happen.
Hey,
On that note, we are coming to the end of our first segment. It's been an interesting discussion so far, and we're going to continue the discussion because I'm sure there's more stuff that we can think of here. But we've got some other fun stuff for you to check out right now. So we will be back.
We're here talking to comic book artist J.G. Jones. Thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Jones.
My pleasure. Glad to be here.
Now, in addition to all the fabulous work that you've done on covers such as 52, which, I mean, I tell you something, part of what I got excited about every week was waiting to see the new covers you were coming out with, I have to admit. But I understand that you're the artist on this new First Wave Doc Savage, is that correct?
Absolutely. I've always been a Doc Savage fan since the time I was a little kid. I ran around and collected all the covers that James Bama did. And I always tell the story when I heard Dan was going to do the project, I threatened his life if he didn't let me do the covers. So here we are. I'm having a ball.
Well, it was very sensible of him to let you be the one to do these covers, because I think your style particularly lends itself to a Doc Savage. I have to tell you, I'm something of a student of comic art, been collecting since they were 20 cents, started buying my first comics in first grade, and particularly after having seen your work, I just think it's a good mesh. So you're a big Doc Savage fan, I take it?
Absolutely. Huge fan. I read all the paperbacks, the Bantam editions when I was a kid. My cousin had them all. We would trade the ones we didn't have so that we could read them. It's great stuff.
So I take it you didn't have to do a lot of research for this particular project.
No. And the world that Brian Azzarello's created here is a lot of fun because it has all the non-superhero pulp characters that I love. The Avenger, the Spirit. We have the old Batman with his 45 strapped on. It's tons of fun for me to do. Batman with guns, fun.
Oh, I know, you gotta love it. So is this the main project you're working on, or do you have anything else you're doing right now?
Well, I'm doing the 2 cover paintings a month, and I'm also writing on my new graphic novel that I'm going to start drawing in a couple of weeks. It's called Dust to Dust and should be out sometime next year through DC.
Oh, terrific. Well, we'll have to look for that. Yeah. Hey, real quick, how did you get involved in drawing comic books? What's your inspiration?
Stupidity. I didn't have any better sense and just kind of stumbled in one day, walked in a dark room and they closed the door, and I've been stuck in here doing it ever since.
Well, I tell you what, you bring so much fun and enjoyment to a whole generation of folks and coming generations. You realize that, don't you?
Well, I do what I do, and I hope that somebody out there likes it, so excellent.
Let me ask you, just in closing, what projects would you like to work on in the future? Are there any particular characters or different things that you want to take on?
Well, I'm having a lot of fun creating my own world right now. So this graphic novel has me pretty much consumed all my time, and I have a few other things plotted out and ready to write afterwards. So hopefully I can work back and forth between mainstream comics and create your own projects from now on.
Is there anything that you can reveal to our audience about this graphic novel?
Murder, mayhem, and the Dust Bowl in the 1930s. There you go.
Well, it sounds like fun. Thank you very much for being with us, and thank you for what you do and for all the fun and enjoyment that you bring to people.
Hey, thanks for caring.
The $6 Million Man first hit the airwaves of ABC TV in March of 1973. The television movie that spawned the series was based on the novel Cyborg by Martin Caidin. 2 additional TV movies followed prior to the launch of the weekly series on January 18, 1974. The show featured Lee Majors as Colonel Steve Austin, an astronaut and test pilot who was critically injured in a crash and rebuilt with bionic parts. His mechanical replacement limbs made him far stronger and faster than normal humans. Austin became an agent for the Office of Scientific Intelligence and went on missions to benefit the United States government. The show, which also starred Richard Anderson, launched the spin-off series The Bionic Woman, starring Lindsay Wagner as Jamie Summers, one-time fiancée of Colonel Austin, who was rebuilt following a skydiving accident. The $6 Million Man became a pop culture phenomenon of the 70s. Among the officially licensed merchandise were comic books, board games, and action figures. The Bionic Woman spinoff initially ran on ABC along with the $6 Million Man, and the lead characters made regular crossover appearances. The show moved to NBC for its 3rd and final season. In what was unheard of for the time, supporting characters Oscar Goldman, played by Richard Anderson, and Bionics inventor Dr. Rudy Wells, played by Martin E. Brooks, continued their roles on both programs, although the move to NBC ended the regular crossovers between the lead characters. And it should be noted that Martin Brooks was actually the third actor to play Dr. Wells. Martin Balsam originated the role in the first TV movie, and Alan Oppenheimer played the bionics inventor for the $6 Million Man's first 3 seasons. The $6 Million Man ran for 5 seasons. It is remembered as the television series that made the term cyborg a household word.
All right, this is Walter Simonson, and you're watching Fantastic Forum.
Welcome back to Fantastic Forum, and I'm your host, Billie Rae Bates, and with me in the studio this time on the panel are Drew Bittner, Roberto Ortiz, and Dave Disspain, and we've been having a lively discussion about the most outlandish superpowers in comics. So what else? What else haven't we talked about yet as far as
X-Men.
just things that are a little weird, a little off-kilter?
The X-Men, there's some X-Men who have some very weird characters. For example,
Yes.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I have one to add in from the X-Men.
Yeah, there's a few that are.
I have
kinda-
one
kinda-
also.
and correct me if I'm wrong, the missing Scott brother, Extreme.
Yeah,
What was the power again that he had?
I have no idea.
I believe he can manipulate mutants' blood.
Wow.
Yeah, which
I mean,
is
considering that Havoc and Cyclops are both energy-based characters, they have this weird,
well, he's extreme, so he's different.
yeah, he gets the blood all angried up.
The one that I was thinking of was Zorn.
Yeah,
The guy. I mean, he basically has a star trapped in his head or something
Yeah.
like that. That's just.
But that's Magneto playing him.
that wasn't that Grant Morrison though?
Yeah.
creating Zorn.
Yeah, I think so. But
Yeah.
I know it was ultimately it was revealed to be Magneto, but for a very long time, probably a good 6-8 issues a year,
Yeah.
it was Zorn, and everybody talked about having a star trapped in his head, and that was
Yeah.
what?
And I'm like,
It's Grant Morrison.
and then there's guys like Maggot,
It makes my skin crawl. You just mentioned
But
it.
yeah, those 2 bioorganic slugs that live inside him. It's
And
like,
speaking
this
of
is kinda
skin
gross.
crawling, actually Toad. I was thinking Toad.
Yes.
His design now is really modeled on the X-Men movie, the first X-Men movie, which
Really?
is like kind of the greenish skin, the super long tongue.
Very repulsive.
Because originally he was just kind of a squat, bandy-legged little guy in this kind of court jester style outfit.
Yeah.
Kind of
That's the way I
ugly,
remember
but not freakish.
One character that, for example, is kind of funny in terms of her powers, you brought her up, is Storm. That
Yeah.
it's kind of one of those characters that is like, if you stop to think how powerful she is, it's kind of ridiculous for her to come into any fight, because this is a woman who basically can summon lightning, for crying out loud. That kills people. I mean, how useful can it be that every time you go into a fight, you have somebody who basically can bring the equivalent of a bazooka to basically settle an argument?
Or she could just get them really wet, just rain on them.
Yes,
Blow
I-
them away.
Can't she
know?
like freeze them to a certain degree too?
Yeah, like
Sure.
blizzards and stuff like
Sure.
Ice
Could
Storm.
you freeze their blood and just kill them that way too?
But
Like,
Good
this-
God.
actually, for me, this kind of brings up the idea of there are a lot of superhero characters and supervillain characters that shouldn't be heroes or villains. They just have no business mixing it up fighting crime. Like Storm should be alleviating droughts.
Yes.
exactly.
The weather
Fire
wizard-
Serving
over Texas.
humanity.
Yeah.
Yes.
The weather wizard, why are you basically robbing banks? You could be making a fortune if you
Yeah.
really, if you're watching this. Go into the agricultural
Weather Wizard, if
business.
you're watching this right now.
You can make a ton of money by making it rain over plantations. Trust me.
And that gets into the whole realm of, if these people really existed, there are so many better uses of their time, talents, energy, and ingenuity than fighting stupid, pointless slugfests in the streets.
And I'll-
Robbing a bank.
And I'll throw another one out there. And I know you guys are probably not going to agree with me because I think this is a popular character. And I like this character, but Black Canary, I mean, she's got a great outfit. I love her outfit from
Yeah.
a female perspective, fashion sense, fabulous. But that whole siren call thing, I
The
mean, what does
Banshee
it really
scream.
do? How does
Like,
it help?
Same power as Banshee. You know, it's just that,
But what
that
is
sonic
the power?
scream and everything.
Okay,
that,
so it
you
just
know.
pierces your
Yeah.
eardrums?
Stunning.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
but
don't-
it's
I
a
don't-
temporary stunt.
Yeah.
I don't think she blasts through walls with it or anything, but you know.
Or can
Okay.
fly like in
Yeah.
X-Men First Class.
Actually, she can blast through walls. They actually showed us in Birds of Prey, no less. Where
Glass walls.
well, actually, Gail Simone had her basically strapped on top of a plane, and she was blasting mountains. And she was-
Okay, well,
so-
that
Okay,
on
that's
a
outlandish.
larger
That
scale,
is,
that's
yeah, that's kind of outlandish.
Okay,
Yeah.
a popular character that I think has silly powers. Honestly, I honestly felt this way from day one. Wolverine. The whole idea of basically having kitchen cutlery coming out of your hands.
But the power to heal, though.
Oh, that's
That's
cool.
great.
But it's like, ooh, I'm angry. Shing! It's like, okay, good. Here's a gun. Blam. Don't like it.
Well, I mean, the whole regeneration thing's gotten out of hand over the last,
Yeah.
30 years
Yes,
or so.
it
but,
has.
You know, originally it was just like, he nicks himself with a shaving and, okay, it's gone. But now it's like regenerating from a drop of blood.
Well, and then there was the whole when Magneto pulled his adamantium
Yeah.
skeleton off of him, he survived that. That should have killed him instantly.
And why
Yes.
not kill him right there? What's the whole point of keeping the character alive after doing that to him? It doesn't make sense.
Well,
I mean,
It's one of those big moments. It's kind of like that Daffy Duck, showstopper. You can only do it once. Fair enough. Like, they might be able to kill off Superman again, but will they ever do it with the same kind of magnitude they did the first time? Probably not.
they punch him to death for crying out loud. I mean, what kind of way of killing a character that is?
What, Superman, the death of Superman? Punching him to death? How are you going to kill him? Kryptonite bullet. No, there you go.
I could live with that.
Well, I'll throw another one out there too. And I don't know if I'm the only one that's always been just a little creeped out by this. I don't know if it's really outlandish, but the character of Captain Marvel, the fact that Billy Batson transforms into a completely different person as a power, they're two distinct people. I don't know.
Sounds like a pedophile
Now that's
fantasy.
Does it seem? But I think they have each other's memories. It's like one lives inside the other.
I think
while
I
they're.
think the last time we really saw Captain Marvel in action, like, we can either take the Jerry Ordway series, which was many, many years ago, or we can take the more recent, one that was aimed at children. The one that was aimed at children more recently is like, it really is the same person. It's just that in Captain Marvel's form, he has more of an adult perspective and maturity on things. He has the wisdom of Solomon to call on, but he's still basically Billy inside.
Now, you're not talking about the TV show from the 70s.
No,
Talking
no,
Where
about
he
the-
is two distinct people on that.
I'm talking
I
about
believe.
the more recent comic book that was aimed at kids.
Okay.
That they've
Okay.
recently ended. I think last year was when it went out, and it had some really good stuff in it. But it does follow the idea that Billy and Captain Marvel really are the same consciousness.
But
it's just,
at different levels of maturity.
yeah, it's the Captain Marvel has a lot more of the wisdom of Solomon to call upon.
I'm with you. It's a little strange. I don't know if it's outlandish, but it is a little bizarre to think of, if I had this ability to turn into another person, why wouldn't I just be that person all the time and not? But then you're getting into the whole why do superheroes superhero?
Yeah.
And
Why do they walk around with a cape?
Exactly.
Yeah, I think it's wish fulfillment for a kid. It's basically, Captain Marvel as a character, if you stop to think about it, is the idea of a kid to basically still be a kid, but still experience the things that grown-ups have. Of being basically, have the power of
Yeah.
a grown-up without the responsibilities.
The advantages of adulthood on a temporary basis.
Yeah.
When you don't want to deal with being an adult again, you just say the magic word and you're a kid.
Yeah, I think
So,
the temporary thing is big.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can go back to being a kid.
nothing forces you to be an adult all the time. You don't. Being Captain Marvel, you don't have to worry about mortgage payments. You don't have to worry about getting your car fixed, getting the plumbing repaired at the house.
Right.
Things like that. You say your magic word, hey, you're a kid again. So it's really it's the power to be an irresponsible adult.
Yeah, pretty much.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Did you have another one?
I'm trying to think of somebody from Superman Rogues Gallery. Somebody who has a stupid power.
Like Doomsday, who basically you kill him, he resurrects, and he can't kill him the same way again. So.
And I kind of have a problem. I agree with you. Doomsday is stupid.
Well,
Stupid character.
well, I would
Evidently
say stupid.
stupid.
I would say
Hold
the
back. Tell us how you really feel.
Doomsday was built for one specific reason, and that is to have the death of Superman story, to have something strong enough to kill Superman.
Boom, boom.
The question is, what do you do with him after that? Because everything you have after that is like, is he going to kill Superman again? And, well, no, he's not, so...
What about Toyman? And does he really have supernatural powers, or is it more the command of toys?
It depends
whatever
on
that
who's
entails?
writing it. That's a fascinating thing about Toyman. There's some people who write the Toyman as a silly guy who basically builds toys and that can kill people. And there's people who write Toyman as this weird pedophile. And
Yeah, the psycho serial killer
yeah.
type guy. Yeah, there was a very, very sharp, like, veering off from the standard Toyman we'd all known and loved when, I think, a bit after John Byrne's run.
Dan Jurgens.
Yeah, it was like,
yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
this is really creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
So-
well, that's about all the time that we have for this time. And I want to thank our panelists.
Thank you.
And I want to thank you, the viewer, too, for tuning in. And we hope that you'll continue to do that. And also email us. Email us your comments, your questions, and well, you know, your thoughts, miscellaneous thoughts to this email address. And we'll catch you next time on Fantastic Forum.
Join the Fantastic Forum fan community on Facebook for all the latest news and updates.